All right, everyone, we are live. Thank you for tuning in to the second edition of the live broadcast of a fourth and long show. It's last night was a weekly episode. Tonight we are going to bring you our UFC 245 recap show. And sorry, 249. Man, how did I mess that one up? Here we go. It has been too long. Blake, it's felt like a while since you've been on the show, to be honest. Maybe a week. It's a week too long. I miss you, buddy. But we're very excited to have you here tonight. We're excited to have all you guys watching along with us tonight. And we're going to be excited to have you guys listening in on the Spotify and YouTube release of the show as well. But let's get around to things, Blake, because I know you're very, very excited for this show tonight. So am I. So is the rest of the world, because UFC 249 not only marks the return of the UFC, but it marks the return of all professional sports in the United States of America. It's about damn time. So ready. But this entire card is loaded from the early prelims all the way to the very main event over on the main card. But let's get started. A couple noticeable fights on the early prelims. Let's take a dive into the featherweight bout between Bryce Mitchell and Charles Rosa. I did a little more research on him. This guy. He's unranked. He's lesser known guy in the promotion, but he's not a guy to be trifled with. This was matchup was originally scheduled for a Fight Night 174, supposed to take place on May 2nd. But Charles Rosa, he fights out of American Top Team. Currently, he's a 12-3 fighter, but he started his professional career in 9-0. But since then, he has alternated between wins and losses. But he does have 3 Fight of the Night bonuses. His most recent victory was over Manny Bermudez on October 18th via a verbal submission due to armbar. That doesn't sound like a fun situation to be in if you are Mr. Bermudez. But this is a guy that does have experience. He does have some good wins under him, and he has some solid performances. So this has the potential to steal the show, because Bryce Mitchell is a very exciting guy. He's scored only the second twister submission in UFC history, and he's just an entertaining guy to watch. You cannot beat the camo Reebok shorts as well. Who ended up winning that one? Mm-hmm. At least I think he fought 4. Yeah. That's kind of what I hope for, to be honest. My pick for this fight is going to be Bryce Mitchell, and it is going to be. Let's give Bryce a knockout victory in this one. Maybe a submission instead, but he's going to finish. Bryce Mitchell is going to finish Charles Rosa in this fight. Who would complain? But the next fight I want to talk about on the early prelims is going to be. I think it's going to be another banger as well. This is going to be a welterweight matchup between number 13 Vincent Luque versus Nico Price. Two guys that are very exciting and always like to bring the heat in their fights. I think it was a little botched. It was. That's why everyone knows his name. Mm-hmm. But it's those fights that are even better to watch because you can't look away from them for even a second. He's 15. He has to. Has to. But yeah, but as you mentioned, he's going to take that. With the win, Nico Price can very well jump into that top 15. He should jump into that top 15. Who knows, Vincent? Luque might even drop out of the top 15 with a loss here. But these are just two unpredictable fighters. It's best because I don't know what to expect really. But if I'm gonna take Nico Price by decision by UD. It's unpredictable because we're expecting the knockout. But since it's so unpredictable, I'm going with that logic. We're not going to see one. All right. All right. I like that. I'll be writing all this down for sure. This all of our predictions will be posted up on the website as well. But let's get rolling on into the prelims. We're going to start the prelims off with a middleweight bout between number 10 Uriah Hall versus 14 ranked Renan. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's why we didn't go over it. Tripping. Oh, yeah. Well, see, the thing about this card is that the early prelims could be a prelims for fight night, and then even the prelims could very well be a main card for some fight night as well. Oh yeah, exactly. Hey, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, no, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, no. We know the game plan. Uriah Hall is going to try to keep the fight, do his best to keep the fight off the mat, stay stand up, stay in range. Whereas Ronaldo Souza is going to do the opposite. He's going to try to get in close and take the fight to the mat. Hey. Uriah Hall, unanimous decision. He's just going to be able to barely survive 3 rounds against Ronaldo and barely survive any sort of submission attempts. Taking Souza? Decision. Honestly, a knockout between the only finish I really see in this fight is going to be a Souza submission. To be honest, I think so. I think maybe not win, but at least survive. Ooh, especially at that middleweight, man. He's almost like I guess the middleweights version of Kamar Usman. Obviously not as good, but in just like that physique, kind of it. Chiseled stone, man. Sweet damn. Speaking of that, like, have you seen Kamaru Usman recently? Before we get to the next fight, that dude looks better than ever. He is chiseled. Man, that's for damn sure, man. But this next fight, this is probably another one. Well, hey, let's give him credit. Give him credit on that UFC 240 245 card. One's all it takes. That's what happens when you have a guy like Colby Covington. He brings out the best in people. He really does. When you see a guy that likes to wrestle, but no, once you put him against a guy like Colby Covington, he goes for the knockout. You wouldn't expect two amazing wrestlers to slug. Broke everyone's expectations. That's why that's one of the more underrated card or fights I think in recent history. This next card on the prelims is going to be a bout between the Cookie Monster Carla Esparza and the Karate Hottie Michelle Watterson. These are two very high caliber women's fighters. Two of the biggest names that the company has ever seen in their women's divisions. Their story careers, and this is going to be a very good matchup. I think. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
making it to where she's neutralizing all of Watterson's offense.
I agree. I totally agree with you on that one. So let's get down to predictions for this fight now. Let's go. Carla Esparza by unanimous decision.
I'm gonna have to go mom champ. I'm gonna
Mom
go
champ.
mom champ with a TKO round two.
I would love a knockout. This next fight, we're finally getting to some heavyweights on the card. Won't be the only one. There's an even better heavyweight matchup, a couple fights down, but this is going to be against two of the oldest guys that you'll see in MMA right now, and two of some of the kind of a little more storied names because you have number 12 Aleksei Olenek taking on Fabricio Verdum, and both these guys have been around for what decades now. It feels like. Feels like Aleskey's been here since the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, I feel like Olenek we can confidently say decades.
Does he have he has some 70 fights on his professional record,
It's
something like
ridiculous.
it's
It's
stupid,
ridiculous. He has like 30 something finishes just by that
right?
submission, like
The
it's
arm triangle,
crazy.
man.
That Ezekiel choke or
That
whatever.
one too. He has like five or six Ezekiel chokes and like a bunch of arm triangles. This guy, he can slug, but he's one hell of a wrestler and submission artist.
Yeah, I think this is a really, really tough fight for Olenek though, because Verdum, I mean, this guy, he's a few years removed from being top level, top of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And he's good on the ground. He's good at standing up. He's good everywhere in the clinch. So I see almost just one way really for Olenek to win this fight, and I think
Submission.
everybody knows that way.
Yep.
Everyone knows what's coming. So I mean, maybe Fabricio just shouldn't take him down, just shouldn't try and get on top of him because it almost seems like Olenek wants people to get on top of them so he can try for that freaking Ezekiel choke.
Right. I mean, Verdum's a guy that is pretty good in the stand up, and he's probably gonna want to stick to that and maybe stray away from the wrestling.
Yeah, and I
In
mean,
this
if you
bout.
watched Olenek's last fight too, I mean, he was getting lit up.
Mm-hmm.
So
That was on
I,
the 246 card.
yeah, so I mean, I would have no problem if I was Verdum, I would really think he would have no problem standing and trading with
Mm-hmm.
Olenek.
I really think it's kind of been. It feels like it's been at least a little bit since we've seen Verdum at the UFC octagon. But hey, I'm gonna take him by knockout in this matchup.
Nice. Okay.
What about you,
Did I already get
Blake?
mine? Oh, you're taking Verdum by
I'm taking
knockout?
Verdum by knockout.
Oh, you bastard. That's what I was gonna say.
Hey, we can agree every once in a while. It's no big deal. We've
Yeah,
kind of
we'll
been
agree. We'll agree.
we haven't really agreed on the fight yet. I don't think.
I hate agreeing with you because you're a Broncos fan, but
And I
go
hate
on.
agreeing with you because you're a Raiders fan. But when it comes to UFC, I do like agreeing with you because you know your shit, son.
Just a little bit.
I'll put a little
I watched
respect on the name. Put a little respect.
watched a few fights, over
Hey,
the years.
you're only the guy that introduced me to the sport, really. Moving on into the main event of the prelims. This is going to be what should be a really exciting rematch. Welterweight bout between 15 Anthony Pettis and number 6 ranked Donald Cowboy Cerrone. This is a rematch from a fight back in 2013 when Anthony Pettis won via knockout, technical knockout. And this is a really, really important fight for both men. But I think way, way more for Donald because a lot of people, especially after his last bout outing against Conor McGregor, they're thinking he's really at the end of his rope. He's really right there at the end of his career. And this is a chance, more than ever, that Cowboy has to prove everyone wrong and prove that he still has some gas in the tank. And he has to win this fight. To be honest. Well, maybe not have to, but there's a big impact if he loses this one.
Yeah, man, Donald Cerrone just seems like he's fought everybody.
Right.
Like
Every other fight he's going to have is probably going to be a rematch, right?
damn near. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I'm really interested in this rematch because I think the first fight it was when I want to say it was when Cerrone was relatively new to the UFC. He was probably still figuring out everything going on, and that was when Pettis was really. I think Pettis was pretty much entering his prime.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this will be a good test to see who's kind of aged a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
and maybe taken just can capitalize better at this point in their career. I think in terms of dangerous, like being dangerous and not necessarily scared by a fighter, but just more worried about the qualities they possess to like put your lights out, I would probably be a little bit more weary of Anthony Pettis just based on the fact, like, I mean, that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson knockout was ridiculous.
Yeah, you're never
Just
one
crazy.
of the greatest highlight reels of all time going off the cage. You,
Yeah. And we know,
mm,
so just if we go back to that Tony Ferguson fight and even kind of a little bit of the Nate Diaz fight with Anthony Pettis,
mm-hmm.
he starts pretty fast. Like he was definitely piecing up Tony Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
Dropped him, almost finished him. He was piecing up Nate Diaz a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, not as bad obviously as what was happening to Ferguson, but I definitely remember I feel like Nate was bleeding in that fight.
Well, that kind of goes without saying, right?
Yeah, every fight he's bleeding,
Come
but
on
still.
now. I get
But
your point.
still,
I get your point.
And so the point I'm trying to make here is Donald Cerrone, flip side, you never know what you're getting with him. I
No.
mean, most of the times, even if he does show up to fight, he still starts out slow.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fight that comes to mind for me is when he fought Yancy Medeiros. He won by TKO that fight, but in the beginning, it seemed like he was getting his ass beat a little bit.
That's
Seems
why
like he
that
just
McGregor matchup was so bad for him because you have a guy that
yeah,
normally starts out slow and the guy that starts off like lightning quick.
lightning, bro. Yeah. And I mean, even in the interview that he gave with Brett Okamoto the other day, he was saying, yeah, I mean, he came out there and he just blitzed me from the start. He, what was that first shot he landed on him? Was it a little, did he land a hook first or did he land the shoulder shots first?
He got the shoulders for the shoulders
That's
opening
what it
up.
was. Yeah. So yeah, when he started getting those, he was like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much stunned at that point. Couldn't even gather himself
Then
long
he
enough.
tried to throw that leg kick and then
Yeah,
it
next
was
thing you
over.
know, he's getting kicked in the face and punched in the face. It's already over. So he never even got a chance to warm up. So I'm thinking the game plan for Pettis has to be start fast and finish fast. Because the longer that you leave Cowboy in there, the more he's going to warm up and get comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
and then possibly start turning it on. Because when Cowboy turns it on, that guy, I mean, that Rick Story combination, I
Mm.
feel like that's the first highlight that comes to everybody's mind
One of
when
the
they think
best
about.
gifts when you've seen the one where like when he throws that combo, it puts like the little flames on the fist with the KOs
Yep.
and one
Yeah.
of the best things.
Dude, that was such a flow right there. I mean, oh my God, it was
That
perfect.
that
I
has to be
cannot believe
top
he executed
five
that.
combinations landing in all of MMA.
Like,
Has to
could you
be.
imagine being Donald Cerrone and just you were the one that did that and then watching that replay and just being like, holy shit, that
Look
was
what I
nice.
did, man.
Like,
Because
because,
I feel like that's one of the combos where you just throw. That's pure,
yeah,
just instinct to throw that. You're not
that's got to
thinking
be
about
muscle
that when you
memory
throw
right
that
there.
combo. You just do it. It
Yep.
was art,
Well, because each
art.
strike is setting up the next strike.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you pretty much fell into each strike. It was
It was
just so
so
beautiful.
perfect, so perfect. But this is a fight that Donald Cerrone, he there's if you're a
A
doubter
lot
in
riding,
the
lot
guy
riding on
that
this.
criticizes and hates on Cowboy Cerrone, one, there's something wrong with you. But two, there's something wrong with you. Three, though, Don Cerrone has to prove these guys wrong. He's feeling a lot better for this fight going off that Okamoto interview. He is currently on his way to Florida right now in his RV. Left a couple days ago, I believe. I love it. I love it. Most people fly in to their events. Nope. Don Cerrone takes off in the big ass RV and goes cruising cross country. You can't not love this guy. But I'm going with the redemption. Might just be because I'm a big fan of his, but Don Cerrone by knockout in the third round.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Knockout in the third round for Donald.
Mm-hmm.
Man. I'm gonna go with Pettis by knockout round one.
By knockout round one.
Not feeling good for Cowboy after that last fight. Hope he proves me wrong.
Yeah, I think the only thing that we could really look forward to this match is with these two guys. It goes back to the Nico Vice Vicente Luque fight. These guys are so damn unpredictable, and well, they're predictable in a way, but they're predictable in the fact that they're going to give you something crazy, and I can't wait for this fight. And I'm really looking forward to this one. Moving on into the main card, the last five bouts of this card, we're going to kick things off on the main card with a guy that everyone wants to see get beat up. Everyone wants to see this guy get punched in the face repeatedly until he's unconscious. This is going to be a heavyweight bout between Greg Hardy and his opponent, Jorgen De Castro. How do you see this one going, Blake?
I mean, I honestly think Greg Hardy is gonna get the dub.
I know. I don't want to say it, though.
Just because, I mean, you got to keep in mind, Greg Hardy is a specimen, dude. Like
He's
that
really,
guy, all pro, right? Wasn't he all
yeah,
pro?
he was
Not
really
just
good when he was playing with the boys.
not just Pro Bowl, but I want to say all pro with the Panthers at
Man, I
least.
should not have said it that way. Oh, sweet damn.
But
When he's playing with the Cowboys.
yeah, that was bad. But
Catholic
yeah,
Church.
so I think he kind of has that John Jones factor, that just physical specimen factor over most of the people that he's going to match up with in the heavyweight division. Obviously, until he gets to the Francises and people like that.
He's nowhere near that level. For sure. But
Oh no,
Greg
not at all.
Hardy, he's for all the hate on him, he has a lot of potential. He could really make some
Yeah,
moves in this heavyweight division.
and he's
But this
getting better.
Jorgen's
As
gonna be a
much
good
as
test though.
I mean, he'll be decent. I don't think he's that good of a fighter. I think that Greg Hardy is being fed decent competition now. It's not as gimme as it used to be.
Mm-mm.
Jorgen De Castro definitely he's had some wins in the UFC at least, compared to most opponents that Greg Hardy fights. Usually they suck. Uh, so they're trying to ease him into it, which I can totally get. You can't just when you're investing in a guy, you can't just put him out there and
No,
feed him to the wolves. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing not only him a disservice, but your company a disservice. So you can't really do that.
exactly.
But I think Greg Hardy is getting you're seeing improvements with him, and I think the better he gets, it's kind of a good scenario for the UFC because he's that polarizing figure, right? He's that guy where people love to hate him, and even if it's hate, you're still going to tune in,
Oh
just
yeah,
like a Mayweather. You want to see that guy get beat up
just like
because
Colby.
he
Going back
sucks,
to
right?
Colby.
Yep. So I mean, the UFC they know what they're doing with this guy.
Exactly.
And I don't think, in my opinion, I do not think Jorgen De Castro is going to be the guy to beat up
I
Greg.
don't think so. Well, the thing
Still
is,
don't think it's coming
the only
because
person
he's a
that
savage, bro. Greg Hardy is a
exactly
savage. They're lucky
his
there's a
last loss
referee
was
there.
to Alexander
I wouldn't want to
Volkov.
fight that guy without a referee.
No,
Like that guy would
oh,
kill me.
that's a street fight no one looks forward to. But Greg Hardy's last loss was against Alexander Volkov, and Volkov is no he's no like just decent fighter. He is a rock solid fighter, especially with that 31-7 record. So he's no joke. But Greg Hardy is probably going to take this one. Greg Hardy by knockout, second round.
Yep, I'm gonna say Greg Hardy, knockout, first round.
First round. Can he beat in his was it I believe is 2019 fight against Juan Adams? This was on let's
45
UFC,
seconds.
45 seconds into round one on the UFC ESPN 4 San Antonio. Does he beat this record?
No,
No. Easy answer,
because
no.
Juan Adams got lit up. So
Sorry, Juan. No offense to Juan, but
so,
next
yeah.
fight, we are going to have a really exciting matchup. It's going to be a featherweight bout between number 7 ranked Jeremy Stephens and number 9 ranked Calvin Kattar. This is these guys aren't huge by any means of the word, but like the heavyweights though, they like to slug it out, and this is probably going to be a slugfest.
Yep, I think from the chatter that I've been seeing online, this is probably like the fourth fight that people are looking forward to the most, I would say, even ahead of Cerrone and Pettis. Because these guys, I mean, these guys are high level. They're ranked 7 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, really, Kattar, if he beats the right people, I mean, he could easily be a top 5 fighter, I think, in the featherweight division. He's fought some
They
really,
both at least have the talent to be in the top 5.
and not to mention Kattar is a little younger, so he looks shinier probably, and just a little bit, like there's more opportunity available with him for the company. But Kattar, I mean, I remember his first fight coming in. I think it was in 2017. I want to say it was the DC John Jones fight where John Jones got suspended again, but knocked him out with the head kick.
Mm-hmm.
He fought Andre Touchy-Feely on that one. You know how I feel about him. That's my boy.
Like
and he actually he beat him up. He beat up Feely, as much as I hate to admit that. So
you're going back to the funny thing is not a lot of people know like you think it's just a name for that you call him. No, his nickname is actually Touchy. It's actually Touchy Feely. I love him for that. That threw me off
great.
when I first watched him fight. I think it was on the prelims of the 246 card. I think that's when I last saw him. But when he was actually announced as Touchy Feely, I misheard something.
right.
Love a guy that got a name like that.
Yeah, you got to. You got to.
But going to his fight, though, I really think
Jeremy Stephens, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear that name?
I think we all know it easily one of the biggest. Was it the most viewed clip of all time? Arguably.
Oh my
Who
god!
the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Oh,
Bro,
it's so giftable.
That has to
so
sting him
clippable.
so bad, bro. Like,
That
oh
is-
my god, you're known more for that meme being on the receiving end of it than just your regular day-to-day job.
I've
and
never
you are on
heard
TV.
6 words destroy your career as much as those once did.
And just the delivery, bro. Like everything about how McGregor did that, like
Perfect. One of the most perfect insults you'll ever hear in all of UFC trash talk.
an inspiration for me, really. Like I take that shit talking straight to my PlayStation.
I love it.
Oh,
You madman. But
just perfect. Sorry,
I'm going to
Jeremy.
roll with this. Sorry, Jeremy. And sorry, Jeremy, again for this one because Calvin Kattar's taking this one by unanimous decision. It's going the distance. It's going to be there's going to be some scares, but this one's
I wish this
going
could
all
be
the way
a
to the
5-round
scorecards.
fight, man. Just like that Yair fight. I wish that could have been a 5-round fight.
I really
And you know
wish-
what? Stevens seems a little hot, dude. He seems a little savage mode right now.
He seems
judging
savage
from his
mode, but I
interview.
think that might be doing a little more harm than good, to be honest, with a guy like Calvin.
I don't know, man.
But
The
I'm
last time
really
that he
excited.
kind of seemed
These-
like this was against Josh Emmett. I feel like a lot of people, because Josh Emmett was riding a humongous hype train. He knocked out, who was the Ricardo Lamos with just this ridiculous hook from hell, and so everyone was on his nuts, and so everyone was just kind of counting out Jeremy Stevens. Jeremy Stevens came in there and freaking broke the dude's face.
He's
Literally broke his
almost
like
smashed your
orbital
face.
bone, like had him out for a year from the sport. So
I
I
can't
Jeremy
wait for
Stevens
this
is a
fight
guy that
though,
I would
man.
not want to fight pissed
No,
off.
I'm really curious going to this because these are guys with, I guess, two different mentalities seemingly going to this fight. Whereas Calvin's kind of taking the kind of the focus and calm route, whereas Jeremy Stevens, he's going to try to murder him. So
Yeah,
I'm really looking like I know I said this for pretty much every fight on this card, but that's just speaks to how damn good this card is. This is historically already just on paper one of the greatest cards ever put together by the UFC and by any MMA promotion.
just by looking at the in terms of talent that's on this card,
The
like
names, man,
just
the
the
names.
name recognition for sure, and the talent that I could attest
So,
for these fighters that I've
mhm,
witnessed. Like I'm, yeah,
man.
we are being blessed by the MMA gods for
So,
sure.
oh, without a doubt. So, are you taking Jeremy Stevens in this match?
You know, as I think I'm gonna have to actually go with Cater. I think it's
Cater.
Cater.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with
Calvin Cater
Cater.
Qatar.
Round three split decision
Split
because that just
decision.
seems like
I'm
that's the
going.
way it's been going recently
All
for
right.
Stevens.
You'll go split. I'll go unanimous on this one. Let's move into the last heavyweight bout on the card, but the one I am definitely most excited for, and the one that I've been looking forward to for a while now, ever since this fight was first announced, ever since it was first canceled, postponed, and now since it's been reannounced and rebooked. This is going to be the bout between number 2 ranked Francis Ngannou and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Jairzinho, number 6 ranked,
Rosenstruik.
by the way. Great name. Great. Fun name.
I love it. It's so much fun to say if you can say it correctly. I don't even know if I'm saying it correctly, but
like like like
it sounds right.
when I first got down Khabib's name, it was a fun one to say. Nurmagomedov. It's just something about that.
Habib Nurmagomedov.
Khabib Nurmagomedov, the
Just like
man.
that, Zabit Magomed Sharapov.
Or when I first got
We're getting off topic here.
like or when I first got like Joanna Young Jacek. That one.
I just want to see who's the guy that goes Joey Diaz. I want to see him freaking pronounce Rosenstruik's name. I wonder what the hell he would call him.
I I'd pay a couple bucks just to hear the pronunciation. But man, this fight we all know, if Francis wins this, he is going to be the number one contender for whenever we have the trilogy fight between Stipe and Daniel Cormier. So we're just waiting on that, waiting on Stipe's eye to heal up pretty much. Hopefully we get that announced within the next
It's not
couple
really
months.
even the eye. It's more of just his whole state. He's in Ohio.
Yeah.
Their whole state is shut down until May 26th or the 29th. I want to
And
say.
he's
I
still
can't remember.
serving on the front lines against the Rona.
He's a first responder. He's on the front lines
So he's
serving the
busy.
country. So
He's still busy. But this is going to be a slugfest, unlike anything else that's going to be on the card because Francis
hopefully,
Ngannou
don't jinx it.
just knocked on wood. Just knocked on wood.
Knock on
Hopefully,
wood if you're with me, boys.
for sure. Man, but Francis, like if we're talking about difficult moments, let's talk about the difficult moment when Francis put Alistair Overeem's head into orbit, tearing through the ISS, and just launching him like he was working for SpaceX.
God,
This man
that had to take like at
years
least a couple
off his
days
life.
off of good old Overeem's life. Like
Took 5
Jesus.
years off his life, straight up.
Dude.
Francis is the most powerful fighter, arguably in the world. He might be able, he's put on some challenges in the boxing world, and honestly, I wouldn't put it past him. Francis is extremely strong, but Rozenstruik on the other end, he's durable, and it's not like he doesn't like power as well.
Yeah, and you know what? Francis has been kind of on a high on like a hot streak here lately too.
Mm-hmm.
That he knocked out Junior Dos Santos, which I thought was very impressive. I like
was
that fight a
pissed
lot.
about that fight because I got home. I was watching the I guess the main card when I was at work, and I got home like just 2 minutes after the fight starts. I was like, okay, I'll be able to catch this. Then I turn on the damn TV, and they're doing
Yep.
the post-fight interviews. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Yep.
How'd I miss that?
Yep, that's how
Oh.
it goes, man. That's how it freaking goes. Same thing with the Cain Velasquez, even worse though. 26 seconds. And the fight before
That
that,
was when
surprisingly
King
enough, is
Velasquez's
Stipe.
knee gave out too, correct?
Yeah, and so
That's a
that's
hard
why
one to watch.
I kind of put a an asterisk, not
Mhm.
necessarily an asterisk on that fight, but it just doesn't hold as much weight as a, you
Nothing like
know,
the Dos
taking
Santos,
out
nothing
a
like the Overeem fight, for
yeah,
sure.
like if dude's knee didn't crumple, then I
Hmm.
would have loved that knockout a lot more.
Yes.
But
It's
it looks
hard.
like he's
The
compromised a
hard
little
thing
bit.
about this fight, it's hard to not overlook Rosenstruck just given where Francis is at right now in his career, in the hot streak he's been having. He looks better than we've ever seen him before. Like he's the Francis Ngannou that fought Stipe Miocic. It doesn't exist anymore. This is a totally different fighter. So it is hard not to overlook Rosenstruck a little bit. But if we're being honest, Francis should win this fight. And Rosenstruck should at least make it competitive and close, but I don't think anyone should
Dude,
expect Rosenstruck to win this one.
Rosenstruik is a freaking badass.
I know he's a
My
badass,
God.
but oh,
Four
it's
knockouts last year, bro. Round
that's why it's
two,
hard.
round one, round five. He can do it whenever.
I know he can. That's the hard
He
thing
can
with
do
this
it
one. I know
whenever.
Rosenstruck. If he wasn't fighting Francis, I'd probably pick him in this fight. But it's
I wish this
so
was a
hard.
5 rounder too, wasn't it?
It,
Wasn't it
it
gonna be a
was the
five
main
rounder?
event. It was
Yeah,
the main event of that fight night that
I
was
think
supposed to take place in Columbus.
that
Um,
really would have served Rosenstruik.
the one that your hometown boy was supposed to be on, but he pulled out to the kidney issues.
Yeah, Cody Garbrandt. They're fighting again on June 6th though. Him and
Love
Austin
it,
South.
love it. I'm glad we got that one rescheduled. But I'm going Francis via knockout in the second round.
I'm gonna go Rosenstruik via decision round three.
Really? Woo! That's an odd take, Blake, but I respect it. What would that do for Ngannou if he does lose this match?
I mean, it would put him down to number
Well,
five
besides the
or four
rankings,
or five.
besides let's look
It would.
outside the rankings. What would this do for him as I guess mentally or the perception of
I
Francis?
mean, it would just keep him more in the gatekeeper role, and he'd have to get on another hot win streak. So this is a huge opportunity for I mean either one of these guys really.
Hmm.
Rosenstruik 4 fight win streak against pretty damn good competition.
This very well could be the number
Arlovsky
one
ex
contender for
champion,
Rosenstruck as well.
Overeem ex champion. He's going against a number one contender basically,
Hmm.
except for number two. But if DC retires, he will be the number one
Yeah,
contender.
there's a
Against Francis
lot riding
Ngannou,
on
who
this
already
fight,
has
man.
experience against the champion Stipe. So I mean, Rosenstruik is just on. I feel like they're both meeting kind of like they're coming to a head, and they're both riding high. So this is like a really interesting fight in my opinion.
Thanks,
But
I
the
said it
reason
right
I'm going
earlier.
with Rosenstruik is just I've tended to see that Ngannou, when the stakes are super high,
Hmm.
at least for the Stipe fight, he just didn't show up. This, Cain Velasquez fight, everyone was counting him out. The Junior Dos Santos fight, still everyone didn't know it was going to happen. Now in this fight, I feel like he is kind of the favorite, I'd say, by a decent margin. And I just don't think he performs very well with that mindset. I think he performs a lot better when he's hungry. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
sure he's hungry still now, but when people are counting him out and the world, it seems like the world is against him. I think he works a little bit better under those circumstances.
I think so too, but I'm still going to take it. I do appreciate the boldness of your prediction as well. Let's roll into the co-main
Hey,
event.
we'll see how bold it is on Saturday, boy.
Yes, we
We
will.
got to
Of
we
course,
are
on the live
writing these
stream.
down. We're gonna see who did
Oh
better.
yeah, these are going to be posted on the website. There is going to be evidence written, and we're going to have a little competition. And we're going to have Jalen. He couldn't join us tonight, but we're going to have Jalen write down his predictions, and we're all going to see who is the best one at predicting stuff. Straight up, we're going.
For
Ooh,
249.
here we go, Blake.
It'll
We're gonna
change.
have our own title. It's going to be our fourth and long title, and the whoever has the most correct predictions is going to carry that and defend it at each pay per view.
That's fair.
I think that's a move. That's a money move. Speaking of money moves, this is going to be the co-main, and it's going to be our first championship fight of the night. This is going to be in my opinion, the most underrated fighter in all of UFC. Triple C cringe champ. Hey Blake, did you know that this guy has a gold medal?
Really, I never heard that before.
Right?
Are we talking about Dom Cruz?
No, we're actually talking about Henry Cejudo. It's actually him with the gold medal.
Oh,
Yeah.
isn't his nickname like Double C?
Totally. I think so. It might be triple. I had to. I sorry, I didn't do enough research going tonight. I apologize, everyone. But we got the cringe up himself, Henry Cejudo, taking on one of the most storied names in this bantamweight division. A guy who helped build the roadblocks and build the path. He paved the path of this division. Former champ in his own right as well, Dominic Cruz. This is going to be a great fight, depending on what version of Dominic Cruz we get in his return to the octagon.
Yeah, like this fight, man, I hate picking in this fight because we haven't seen Dom Cruz in 4 years, so we
It's
have
so hard to
absolutely
pick.
no idea. We have
Exactly.
absolutely no idea what's gonna be out there come Saturday night. And so my initial thought is just if Henry Cejudo performs the way that he's been performing lately, going against new age killers like Marlon Moraes, beating up TJ Dillashaw, even though it was at 125,
Hmm.
and well he did it 135 as well.
That
So I
Marlon
mean,
Moraes fight was probably one of the best performances in Cejudo's career as well.
yeah, I
At
think
least it's the way he was able to completely turn around that fight and finish it.
yeah, I think really the key to this fight is Dominic Cruz's mobility. Just seeing if he can stay on that bike, if he can still use that crazy, unpredictable footwork that'll keep Cejudo kind of guessing
Hmm.
and not really knowing where the strikes are going to come from. But if Cejudo is able to close that distance, I would see Cejudo really putting a beating on Dom Cruz. And this is going to be a 5 round fight because this is for the championship.
Yep.
So yeah, I
Great
personally
observation there,
think
Blake. That's why we pay you the big bucks.
you know what I'm saying. Sometimes I gotta talk through these things. Cejudo, I definitely think I'm gonna give him the nod based on just what have you done for me lately, and also I don't know. Dom Cruz just looks old.
Well, it's
His
hard.
Instagram, he looks old.
I cannot, with a clear conscience, actually pick Dominic Cruz in this fight. No disrespect to him, but it's
That's a shot in
clearly
the dark, really.
it, I if I'm a betting man, I can't put money on him. We
But you know
don't
what's
know what he's
crazy
going to
is
get. It's been 6 years since we've seen him inside the UFC octagon.
I actually saw Dan Hardy. I think it might have been was it Dan Hardy or was it Florian? It might have been K Flow. I think it was K Flow and Schaub. They were making the argument that Dom Cruz is going to win a decision
I don't see it. I don't see it.
just
I
because
see.
they think that he's going to be, back to his old ways, unhittable and moving in and out, and Cejudo's not going to be able to close the distance and stay in front of him and get in the boxing range and bust him up. But I just don't see it. Dominic
I
Cruz.
don't. I see Henry Cejudo knocking out Dominic Cruz in the fourth round.
The book's been written, right? I mean, the book's out. Cody Garbrandt wrote the book on how to defeat Dom Cruz,
Yes.
and he literally has been in a cave since. No
Straight
disrespect. I'm
up.
sure he's been injured plenty of times, like always,
Hmm.
but it's just facts. Like what have you done for me lately? Absolutely nothing. The
I
fact that he got this fight is just crazy to me.
I give a lot of respect to that. To be honest,
Yeah.
that's
I
pretty
mean, I
impressive.
I don't have anything against the fight
No,
necessarily because
no, no, no.
I'm a lover of just fights in general, and so you give me matchups, and I get excited about the matchup no matter what the
Hmm.
matchup is. Do I think it was fair necessarily? Probably not.
It's
I would have rather
questionable
probably
at
seen an
least.
Aljo or maybe even a Yan get that shot before
Totally.
Cruz did. But you got to do what you got to do in times like this, especially when not everyone's available.
And honestly, to the UFC's perspective, they probably I would be willing to bet a name like Dominic Cruz is going to sell better than a name like
Oh,
Jan or
absolutely.
maybe even Aldo, maybe even Aldo. It-
Yeah, Aldo. And just to clear it up, I was talking about Aljamain Sterling. But yeah, Aldo for
yeah,
sure he can't do anything. He's in Brazil, so he's totally out of the mix right now.
no,
And Aldo, I think just in terms of name recognition, I think they're pretty comparable. But Cruz, keep in mind, he's on TV almost every week, every
exactly.
time that there's an event.
He's one of the commentators for a lot of these fights as well.
Yeah, free publicity right there, basically.
It's
I mean, he's getting
perfect.
paid to be getting publicity, actually. So
Exactly. You can't beat it. But
even
I'm
better.
taking Henry knockout fourth round. What are you taking?
I'm doing Henry. Mm, The fourth round is actually sounds pretty nice actually. But I think I'm gonna go. I think Henry gets him in the third.
In the
I'm gonna go
third.
one round sooner.
Doesn't
Yeah.
even make it to the championship rounds.
No, I think
Disrespect.
Cejudo can finish him in the third.
Hmm. All right, I like it. But now let's finish this off with the coup de grace, the fight that, not the fight that everyone was hoping for originally, but this is a fight that has slowly grown on me even more than it was when it was first announced. And I honestly might be more excited for this fight than I was for the original Habib matchup. But this is going to be the number one, or so first off, this is going to be for the lightweight interim title. We're going to have number one ranked fighter Tony El Kukui Ferguson
El
against
Kukui. Put some
Kukui.
respect on his name.
El Kukui, my bad. I'm sorry,
The
everyone.
Boogeyman. Right?
This guy,
Is that what it is? I
he's a
don't know what the
boogeyman.
direct.
He's a boogeyman.
Pretty sure that's what it is.
He is a guy that messes people up. He's a guy that scars people for life. Like, have you heard the recent interviews of the story that I believe is ESPN did that, like, talked about people that have formerly fought against Ferguson and just how bad it is to fight him?
Yeah, you saw that tweet.
Uh huh.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like
Really
what
good
Josh
stuff.
Thompson was saying and all that. Yeah, it was good. It was good stuff.
I would never want to fight Tony Ferguson because he's scary
No,
as hell.
absolutely
Honestly,
not.
I might rather fight Francis Ngannou.
Well, at
Just
least it's over quick, you
exactly.
know.
That's what I'm saying. Tony Ferguson is going to make you suffer.
But then
Francis
again,
is
you
just
might
going to
have
take your
permanent
life.
brain damage with Francis.
Well, it might be better than bleeding out from face lacerations from Ferguson.
I'll take my chances with the lacerations.
And he's going up against number 4 ranked contender Justin Gaethje. And I really like this matchup because these are two guys that do anything but hold back punches.
Right. And Tony Ferguson, he's going to try and hit you from everywhere. It's not just going to be with his hands, it'll be with his every type of any legal part of his body that he can strike you with. I'm sure he will give that a go.
And, some people was it the 6 points of striking in Muay Thai. I think Ferguson has found like 20 different points of striking.
Yeah. I mean, he's ridiculous, dude. He'll just go outside and start elbowing a metal pole for like 20 minutes straight while most people are just like, eating yogurt or something.
While doing backflips off a tire, part of his typical workout routine.
Guy's a freaking Spartan, man. I don't even know what that guy puts in his coffee, but it's got to have, I don't know,
Tiger blood,
a little bit of cocaine in there or something. I don't know.
the cocaine.
He's crazy. He is absolutely insane, and that's why I think he's probably one of my favorite fighters because
Has to be.
he shows up every time, whether or not he starts the best,
Mm-hmm.
like the Kevin Lee fight where he fought Kevin Lee. I thought it was a really dangerous start for him. Kevin Lee put him in some trouble really early. Same thing with Anthony Pettis. I think Tony Ferguson, very similar to Donald Cerrone, is a little bit of a slow starter. I don't think not to the point to where Donald Cerrone is. And it's interesting because they actually fought pretty recently too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Well, almost a year ago.
like Donald, Tony is very hittable, and Justin Gaethje, when he gets in range and he smells blood, he's not letting up.
No.
So it'll be really interesting to see, can Tony weather the storm? Because a storm's coming with Justin.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know when or where it's going to strike. And when it strikes, you you better be ready. There's only been two guys that could actually put him out. Was that Poirier and Alvarez? I want to say, or his only losses,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and
It was Poirier. Poirier at least. It was Poirier. He had back-to-back TKO losses.
I know for sure it was Poirier and Alvarez. I just don't remember if he had a third loss yet or not.
No, it was just the two. Just
I feel like he did though.
really. You really?
Isn't he 24-3 or something like that now?
Justin Gaethje is not 24-3. Let me bring up his exact record for the record. Justin, 21-2.
Okay. So it wasn't only two
it's
losses.
okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
right.
so that's great. He's
Shocker.
going up against such good freaking competition too. The Edson Barboza fight, I think he got him after a war, so I don't give that one as much weight, but he's had like easy, I would say not easy, but
Mm-hmm.
he's had very quick fights his last few times
Mm-hmm.
out,
He
and I
did
think that
murder
bodes
Cowboy
well.
though. That was when he first really caught my eye. Was
That was
when
an
he went there.
execution,
It was
and that's a
bad.
shame. That's a shame that he first caught your eye there, man, because geez, his first fight when he came into the UFC, he literally just walked Michael Johnson down, made him quit in the
Well,
octagon.
Blake,
It was
I'm gonna blame that one on you for not getting me into the sport earlier. It's your fault.
I don't even know if I'd met you yet. This was 2017.
No, you haven't even met yet. That's your fault still.
That's yeah, I'll
You should
take the
have found
blame.
me. Yeah, that's on you, dog.
And so
This
literally after that fight, he got pulled to be the Ultimate Fighter, the next Ultimate Fighter coach against Alvarez. And so that's when
awesome.
he kind of got burst into the starlight
See, this
and the
is
spotlight.
this is a hard matchup because it's not like Ferguson. He is a killer. He does and put a he does shorten careers of the people he goes against. But it's not like Tony Ferguson, like you said, he is hittable, and it's not like Tony Ferguson goes fights without being rocked. He's been rocked plenty of times. But the really interesting about him, the thing that kind of sets him apart from a lot of these other fighters is that he when he's rocked, he's almost more dangerous in the sense. The more he's hit, the more that he gets beaten up on, he gets even better. It's like he feeds off of pain and punishment, which is the scariest. That has to be one of the scariest things as any guy that actually takes on Tony Ferguson. Like, how you gonna be Anthony Pettis and rock this guy once, a couple times, and
He's
he
smiling
gets
ear to ear.
smiling as he's not even as he's rocked, and he gets up and he gets stronger after being put
God,
down.
that was man, that was such a brilliant display of just grit and guts and heart and just strength and toughness. I
That
mean,
has to be so demoralizing for a guy like
yeah,
Pettis to put him down twice and for him to just shake it off and be better than he
yep.
was.
Did you see the quote today from the media
Which one?
little there's some media today with Tony Ferguson, and so a reporter asked him, when you hear Gaethje say that he hopes that you break his nose so you that he can finally fix it, what do you think of that? Tony Ferguson's answer, he just doesn't want me to hit him in the body. He's just a step ahead all the time, man.
Well,
You
I
know,
love
like
him.
that's such a great
Ferguson went
answer.
during the Habib press conference with his blue glove and his baseball. Like,
The baseball bat just holding his hand, like that guy is great at mental warfare. He's really good at it
well, it's not like he brings anything scary. It's not like he's holding like a knife or something like threatening a stab. You know, he just comes
No,
in
he plays the
with a
crazy
glove and
game.
a baseball.
He
And
plays the crazy game,
why?
which is even better
See why he had those things? Who
because he's
knows?
crazy. I'm telling you, dude, he's doing it. He's playing the
I think
psychopath card,
I don't think
and
he's
that
even
is the
playing. I think Tony Ferguson is legit psychopath.
he very well could be. And that's what I'm
That
saying
boy
is
not right
that's
in the
even
head.
more powerful than trying to intimidate somebody, than
Hmm.
trying to do anything. Like if you think somebody is crazy, like if me personally, if I think someone is freaking weird or crazy,
That's
like
scarier,
I'm
right?
way more inclined to avoid them and
Exactly.
just stay away because I'm like,
Exactly.
yeah, that guy's one, I don't want to talk to them. Two, I don't want to freaking
Hmm.
see them or freaking. They probably smell
Exactly.
bad too, you know? Like Jesus Christ, who
All
knows? They
right.
might have a freaking
But
knife.
let's get down to brass tacks, Blake, because who cares about anything besides the actual predictions on this one? I think this is actually going to be a lot closer than maybe people already think. Justin Gaethje has a legitimate shot at winning this fight, taking the interim title, and being the next, hopefully, the next guy to face off against Habib Nurmagomedov. Justin Gaethje is also the man that Dustin Poirier has come out and said that he's the only one currently capable of putting an L on Habib's record. And take that as you will. Uh, Poirier has both knocked out Justin Gaethje, and he's also taken submission loss to Habib, and what was a great fight for that round at least. So, man, I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm saying Justin Gaethje by knockout in the championship rounds.
Tony Ferguson is gonna TKO him.
What round though?
Round. I'm gonna have to. It's gonna have to be round probably four, I would think. Because Justin Gaethje, he doesn't quit. I
No.
mean, Tony Ferguson's gonna have to put a beating on him,
See,
and
Justin Gaethje
I think he
also
will.
Gaethje's come out and said like it seems like a month ago now, but Justin Gaethje is going to have 20 minutes of absolute fury against Ferguson, then after that, he doesn't know what's going to happen.
But that was when they were first scheduling the fight.
I,
So
I
he's already come back and taken that away from what he initially said. I'm sure
okay.
he's going to have a little bit more of a
Uh,
well prepared and planned out game
yeah,
plan now that he's had
I think
what, like
so.
2.5 extra weeks to train and
Yeah,
prepare.
I'm gonna take Gaethje in the fourth round though. I really do believe it. Maybe not really do believe it, but I think
Didn't you
it's.
say the fifth round just like
I
two
said
minutes ago?
championship rounds, so that can mean fourth or fifth.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're not making up your mind and you
I
need
said
to
fourth.
put on some big boy pants and make a
Yeah,
prediction and stop sounding
I
like a bitch.
said fourth. Don't give me that. We're going four. Justin Gaethje
Okay?
round four.
All right, you done now? Are you done changing your answer?
There was no change. There was just a specification of it.
Sure you don't want to hop on the bandwagon and go Ferguson so you don't have a losing record against me?
I don't. I don't care. I don't care about that, Blake. Because
Okay.
if I don't need your opinion. I don't need
No,
any of
you're
that
used to
stuff.
losing. You're a Broncos fan, so it's all good.
No, I'm used to the Broncos and Raiders drawing in their season series with each other for like the last 5 years, like last 3-4 years now.
Yeah, I'm used to having more Super Bowl rings.
They're the same amount, 3-3. Okay, so doesn't really matter. The
Just
Raiders.
wait for this year.
When was the Raiders' last Super Bowl?
You said what?
When was the Raiders' last Super Bowl appearance?
The Raiders' last Super Bowl appearance was in 2002.
That was a long ass time ago, Blake. Long ass time
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, that's a shame.
When do you think the Broncos are ever going to get back in the playoffs?
This season, 17. But that's besides the point because we're talking UFC right now. You can listen to more of our football stuff over on our weekly episodic podcast.
Disgusting.
Man, but all I can say is that, like I said, time and time again, that this card, from early prelims to the prelims to the main event, this is going to be an amazing card. And what better way to come back to UFC and professional sports in America than with the card of this caliber, Blake?
Yep, I'm freaking ready. I'm ready to see some people get punched.
I really can't wait. But, folks, that's going to do it for our UFC 249 preview show. There's all of our predictions, takes, and estimations of what the fights are going to look like. We will, on Saturday, be having a watch-along live stream, and this is not only going to be a watch-along for the UFC 249, but this is instead just going to be more of a celebration of sports returning to America as well. Looking for probably some stop-ins from some fans maybe as well. Going to bring some people onto the Skype call for a few minutes, and we're going to have a good time, and we hope we can see you guys there as well. But thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Blake, for making your appearance, UFC correspondent, fulfilling your duties. So,
Yep, still waiting on that paycheck.
so am I. Yeah, we're in the same boat, dog. But
Oh
thank
yeah,
you
this was
for
fun
this.
though. Good talking about UFC. It's nice to have sports back, and we can
Knock on
start
wood, at
putting
least, man.
coronavirus in the
Knock on
rearview
wood.
mirror. Hopefully.
We still have Thursday and Friday to go until this thing can be pulled by ESPN again, the higher ups of Disney. Screw you guys.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen this time.
If it does happen, let's storm the Disney headquarters. Let's go cough on people. How's that? Biological warfare in this bitch. But we'll catch you guys on Saturday or stream. Make sure to check out episode 35 of the Fourth Line Podcast that just dropped this point on Spotify, YouTube, and all other great podcasting sites, just like where this one's going to be. But everyone, stay safe, stay hopeful of these next 2 days, and let's hope we can get through them sooner rather than later. Hopefully work goes quick. Hopefully everyone's finished up school quick so we can get on to Saturday and we could party. But everyone, we'll catch you guys later. Thank you for those that are able to make out to the stream, and thank you for listening to the episode.